in the middle of chapter 13 and we've got to an exciting bit when the squealers have gone off squee and Norbert the Nutjob has woken up and threw his double-headed axe straight at Kamikaze dangling from her rope. Kamikaze saw the axe coming and let herself drop. The axe mixed and Kamikaze landed on the floor, or more precisely on the gigantic wobbly stomach of a hysteric who was so dead to the world he didn't even wake up. Norbert the Nutjob ran to drag his frozen father out of the mass of squeaking squealers. Stiff and ice cold as he was, they still tried to eat him, blunting their teeth on his hard, frozen legs, slashing their horrible long nails on his solid, frozen moustaches. Once he had pulled his papa to safety, the squealers stopped screaming as abruptly as they had begun. Norbert the Nutjob drew his sword and strode towards Kamikaze with a murderous expression on his face. "Get out of here!" screamed Kamikaze. "I'll be all right. Don't worry about me." Good old Kamikaze. Hiccup was standing right in the middle of the table. About 20 large warriors were already advancing towards him warily, swords, axes and daggers drawn. The odds were not on Hiccup's side, and Hiccup was totally and completely unarmed. He had no bow and arrow, no dagger. He did not even have his sword, for Norbert the Nutjob had taken it from him earlier, if you remember, which was a shame because Hiccup was very good at sword fighting. So in absence of his sword, Hiccup picked up 2 large, sloppy, creamy pumpkin pies and crashed them like cymbals on either side of another warrior's face. Ooh, that looks like fun to do. The hysteric fell backwards, a sticky, dripping pumpkin mess, and promptly sat down on the smaller warrior behind him. Meanwhile, dodging hysteric sword thrust, Hiccup grabbed the nearest thing to hand, which happened to be a gigantic half-eaten turkey carcass, and shoved it over the head of the closest warrior. The hysteric's arms were pinned by his sides. Muffled shouting noises came from within the turkey, and he staggered off like a grotesquely large dead chicken with human legs. Hiccup was getting into the swing of things. He tipped an entire bowl of maple syrup on the floor, sending the hysteric slipping and sliding all over the place. He winded another warrior with a watermelon. He pelted them all with onions. Now the squealers had stopped squealing. Toothless flew down from the roof to join in the battle. He found a bowl of chestnuts, sucked up a whole mouthful so that his cheeks were bulging like a hamster, and zoomed over the heads of the warriors, spitting out fire and red-hot roasted chestnut like a barrage of flaming bullets. Chaos reigned in the great hall. Vegetables flew in all directions. Hysterics who had been woken by a fat, overripe tomato splattered in their faces assumed that this was all just a merry midnight food fight, and enthusiastically attacked their fellow hysterics. "Hurry up, Kamikaze!" screamed Hiccup, slapping another opponent down the cheek with a large flat flounder and running up the other side of the table. Kamikaze had problems of her own. She was defending herself against Norbert the Nutjob, who was livid with rage and lashing out at her with his sword. Norbert the Nutjob had had a trying couple of days. His bottom was still throbbing from the arrow wound. Hiccup had made a fool out of him with the ordeal by axe. Somebody appeared to have bitten off the end of his moustaches. "I'm looking at you, Toothless." And the hysterics, the hooligans even were now stealing his papa's precious American vegetable. And they hadn't even had the decency to send some proper adult assassins. This third assassin was even smaller than the first two. To add insult to injury, he, Norbert the Nutjob, noble chief of the hysteric tribe and master swordsman, was finding it difficult to defeat this tiny little Bond assassin in one-to-one combat. She just wouldn't stay still. She met every lunge she made, carelessly singing the Bog Burglar national anthem as she did so. She performed cartwheels between roofs. That's very irritating. She even picked up a piece of wormwood sandwich off the floor and started to eat it while fighting. She is a naughty cat, Kamikaze. She's very good at pissing people off. She talked constantly. "I hope you don't mind me eating on the job," she said chattily, easily deflecting his Grimbeard's grapple-thwart sword thrust and throwing in a piercing point of her own. "I know it's rather rude to fight with my mouth full, but I'm absolutely starving. Haven't eaten a thing all evening." Norbert the Nutjob gave a grin and smile and sprang forward with a particularly violent sword thrust. She dodged it, leapt up, swung at his beard, while she swiped her sticky fingers on his shirt front and sprang back down again. I'm going to kill you, panted Nod up, his eyes watering with the pain of having his beard pulled. First with my sword, and then with my axe, and then I'm going to feed you to the squealers. You clever, clever boy, sang Kamikaze, delightedly spotting her rope dangling just behind his head. But you'll have to catch me first, you know. And with that, she somersaulted right between his legs, came up the other side, and squirmed up her rope with astonishing speed, pulling the end of it up behind her. Norbert looked down at his legs for a dazed moment and then through them, and then he swung round to find that Kamikaze had apparently vanished into thin air. He whirled round again. She wasn't there either. How completely extraordinary. Kamikaze, swinging centimetres above Norbert head, removed his helmet so gently and so softly with her pickpocketing, burgling fingers that she never felt a thing. She then bashed him on the head as hard as she could with the frozen potato. Norbert staggered a bit, swayed this way and that, and then fell to the floor unconscious. As he lay prone, Kamikaze dropped back down to the ground again and patted him reassuringly on the shoulders. Practice. That's all you need, Norbert. A little practice. You're never too old to learn. Kamikaze! Shrieked Hiccup from the banqueting table, knocking out a hysteric with a leg of roasted buffalo, shoving a carrot up the nose of another, and spraying 3 more with homemade nettle champagne. Get over here! Kamikaze swung across and landed on the table beside them. Most of the table was now in flames, and the fire had spread to all the polar bear rugs. Most ominous of all, the squealers were actually moving to get out of the court hall. Squealers are so lazy that they only move when they are in mortal danger. They wriggle towards the door like disgusting fat bloated slugs, their nails waving frantically, leaving a trail of snotty slime. The rope that had snaked up to the chimney to the ceiling, the other end of which was attached to One-Eye's great leg, dangled between Kamikaze and Hiccup. They both grabbed hold of it, coughing from the smoke, and tugged 3 times. Just the second before One-Eye dragged them up and out of danger, Hiccup leant down and picked up a metal food tray from the table. And then they were up and away, the hysteric swords just brushing their heels as they rose swiftly to the ceiling and out through the hole in the roof. But they're not out of trouble yet. They're still on hysteria. They've done well, haven't they? Oh, I love that Kamikaze. Next chapter tomorrow.